Hey, I want to let you in on a little secret. I'm a packrat. Now, if you've been watching the channel, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, you talk about simple living, you watch your health, you like order, you like beautiful spaces. Exactly. But here's the strange thing. Deep down, I think I'm a minimalist at heart. I mean, I subscribe to emails from Becoming Minimalist. I watch The Minimal Mom. I listen to the Minimalist podcasts. I watch Clutter, all of those people. And I absolutely love a peaceful room. Open shelves, empty countertops, organized closets. I don't like clutter. So how in the world did I end up here? This is my office. This is my art studio. This room is supposed to become our library someday. And this is the basement. Some of it's become the gym, as far as equipment, but I have dreams for what it should look like. And it's just waiting. And, when the closets are full and the cabinets are full and things start spilling out into the rooms where you actually live, then I think it's time to admit that something has to change. And some of this is my stuff, but a lot of it isn't. It's furniture that we've inherited and boxes that belong to my son when he decides what to keep, and bathroom vanities waiting for a bathroom remodel. 25 years worth of conference materials in my office, demo models, art supplies, magazines, notebooks, little scraps of paper everywhere, full of ideas, dreams, projects. And I've been really embarrassed by those rooms. But this week I realized something, that my house isn't full of clutter. It's actually just full of too many unfinished dreams. And as I walk through these rooms, I notice something, that every room represents another version of me. The artist me, the writer me, the would-be gardener, the teacher me, the trainer me, the woman who dreams about growing herbs and cut flowers, the woman who wants a beautiful library, the woman who wants women gathered around a table, the woman who wants to write books, the woman who has still one more collage inside of her. And no wonder the house feels heavy. It's got every version of me I ever imagined becoming, and all the stuff that goes with it. And then I started asking myself, why do I keep all of this? I don't think it's because I love possessions. Actually, I really don't. I hate wasting money. And if something still has value to me, it's really hard for me to let it go. And then there's the sentimental part. And then there's the part that I'll also admit that I'm a little bit of a prepper. Not bunker level, but enough that I think, well, what if the internet goes down? What if the power goes off? Then what? What if I can't get this information? What if I need this article for a book someday? What if I need this brochure? What if I needed that lesson? And so I save it. So there's another fear. I'm just afraid that I'll forget. And if I hear a great sermon, I'm scribbling notes everywhere and circling things and making arrows on the page and half sentences, sideways writing. The page looks like a complete chaotic mess to other people. But the funny thing is that when I'm taking notes, whether it's a sermon or a lecture or anything, I almost never read those notes again. I don't need to. The writing helps me to remember them. And then I can visualize on the page where that is. And if I don't write it, then I forget it. And so my brain remembers where things are. I don't think in categories, I think in locations. And so if my husband rearranges the spice cabinet while I'm traveling, which he's done a couple of times for me, God bless him, then I can't find a thing. And he'll proudly say, look, I organized the spices. And inside I'm thinking, oh no, what have you done? Because my brain had a map. And it's not a filing system that's normal for most people. And the same thing is true in my office and with my notebooks and my art studio. And my digital desktop looks exactly the same way as my physical desktop. And I have hundreds of files and downloads and screenshots and PDFs and emails. I never delete an email. It saves me sometimes. But my electronic clutter looks just like my real physical clutter. So, I don't know. One sentence came into my mind the other day, and it was, I don't collect possessions, I collect possibilities. And I spoke about that the other day. And every single notebook says, well, maybe that's the next book. And every single little scrap of paper says, well, maybe that's the next collage. Every travel brochure says, oh, maybe that's where we'll go next. Every conference notebook says, well, maybe I'll teach on that lesson. You know, I'm not preserving just paper. I'm preserving future versions of myself. And so yesterday, something else happened. And I was talking to my cousin. We were at a party, and their mother recently passed away. And they've been cleaning out her house. And she said something to me that struck me. She said they found old report cards from all the kids and childhood artwork and my cousin's cheerleader uniform. And I asked her, I said, so what'd you do with all of that? And she smiled and she said, oh, I kept it. And before I even thought, I thought in my head, why? She doesn't even have children, my cousin. And I was like, who's going to clean out her house someday? You know? And then I stopped because I realized, you know, that I'm asking about her while I'm walking through my own house. And I've read about Swedish death cleaning, and I've admired the idea. And admiring it, though, isn't the same thing as doing it. And so, I don't know. This is just what happens in midlife. It's a season where everything just kind of reaches this crescendo, and all the chaos finally just blows up like a blivet. The children's artwork, the career notebooks, the travel brochures, the inherited furniture, the magazines full of ideas, all the books that you don't want to get rid of, recipes, magazines, the hobbies, the dreams. You know, you reach 40, you reach 50, you reach 60 years, all begin living under one roof. And maybe clutter isn't about just this year. I think it's about every year. And what I haven't been doing as a steward of my things is cleaning things out on an annual or semi-annual basis. And so I think something else happens in midlife, and this is the season where you just realize that you just can't hold it all anymore. You can't become every version of yourself that you want to be. And you can't preserve every possibility. You can't finish every project. You can't store every memory. You can't keep every possession. You can't remember everything that you have. And you certainly can't do everything. And for years I thought that if I just organized it better, if I planned better, if I worked harder, that eventually I'd catch up. And now I feel even more behind. You know, I wonder if midlife is really the season where you just discover that we were never in control to begin with. And maybe God is just still trying to loosen my grip, because it's not that He's taking things away, but He's inviting me to trust Him more. And maybe the opposite of clutter isn't minimalism. Maybe it's just trust. Trust that if God wants me to write the book, then He'll bring the idea back to me. That I won't have to be afraid that I'm going to lose that idea. Or trust that I don't need every magazine that I've ever torn apart. Or trust that I don't have to preserve every possible future. Or trust that today's assignment is enough for today. And, I'm still going to go through and organize these rooms, and I'm still going to go and make the hard decisions that need to be made. And I'm still going to have to let things go. But not because I want a Pinterest perfect house, but because I just don't want to leave my son this mountain of postponed decisions for him to have to go through. I want him to have stories. I want him to have faith and wisdom and not be burdened by my stuff and my neglect of these things. I want him to just remember how much we loved him and not boxes that he's having to sort through while grieving. And so if you're watching this and your house looks anything like mine, maybe you're not lazy or as disorganized as you thought. Maybe you've just lived a full life. And maybe you've loved deeply and you've worked hard and you've raised children and you've served people and you've created beautiful things and you have a lot of ideas and you've dreamed big dreams. But maybe this season isn't about collecting more of that. Maybe it's about curating it, pruning it. Maybe it's about asking what to do with the accumulation of a lifetime and asking the Lord, what do you want me to faithfully bring with me into the second half of my life? And what can I finally lay down? And that question isn't just about our houses. It's about everything. It's about the possessions, the dreams, the roles, the identities, the responsibilities, the expectations, the fears, and the versions of ourselves that we thought that we would become. And again, maybe it's not just about decluttering. Maybe it's about having discernment. So thanks for letting me show you the unfinished parts of my life. It's a little bit embarrassing, but I'll see you in the next video.